So one of those things that we're going to be looking at is Trendline. We are going to be using rectangles. Oops. All right, trend lines, rectangles, one being red and the other one being blue. All right. Blue is going to represent an area that we're expecting to buy from. Red is going to be to show us an area that we're expecting to sell from. And I also use arrows. All right, so here's how I would use this stuff if I was looking at this particular chart. All right, one of the first things we like to know is what is the direction that the market is currently going in. And currently, you can see that right now we seem to be going up, right? It seems to be going up for a while. Whenever we are trading, once we know the direction of the trend is just where the market is going. If it's going up, we want to go up too. All right. So we'll be looking for buys since this trade is continuing to go up. So with that being said, let me simplify that real quick. So if the market is doing something like this, where it's going up, this is what we called a uptrend. This is a bullish trend. It's made up of a series of higher highs and put that as HH and higher lows, HL. Once we continue to get higher highs and higher lows, this is continuing to go up. And in this scenario, the most important, like both of them are important, but the one that really gives us the indication that we're continuing to go higher is going to be those higher highs. All right. It's as if you're in a house every time, or you're in a hotel that's like 30 stories. Every time you reach another floor, that is you breaking a previous high. All right. So, Raya, let me know if that makes sense for you. So, if this is the ground floor, this is the ground floor, um, this is halfway up. No, wait. Yeah, this is the ground floor. This is the second floor. All right. If we were here, if for some reason the elevator always goes up and down all the time, or more like a stairs with landing. Anytime we make a new high, this is us going to a new floor altogether. All right. Landing, new floor altogether. So the higher high is the main thing that we look for. So what I do is when I'm looking at the chart, I try to find out where's the highest point and where's the lowest point. When we are looking to place a trade, you would have heard it said before, we want to buy high and we want to sell low. Sorry, we want to buy low and sell high. We want to buy as low as possible. We want to get the cheapest price. We want to get the most discounted price. We want to buy at dollar store and sell at Hermes, right? And in this case, the lowest price, we want to get somewhere around this higher low area, right? That's where we want to buy. So if I was looking at this, I would take my trend line that I use to figure out where's the high, and I'll put it at the top. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is the highest point so far. And then I would say, okay, we're here. What is the lowest point closest to price? This is the lowest point. So then I would start to think, okay, do I have an opportunity to buy here? All right. If I was going to buy, is this where price is right now? Is that low enough for it to make sense for me? All right. This is like halfway. If I wanted to buy, I will want to get it priced as low as possible. All right. So like what I was just drawing, if this was the arrows going up and down, we'll be somewhere around here. Oops. Which, based on what I just showed you before, this is a higher high. This is a higher low. This is a higher high. This is a higher low. I told you guys we buy at the higher low. We are way past that. All right. So that would mean one of two things. We either have to wait until price comes into an area that we can actually buy from, or we could go look for another trade. All right. So if the case is where we are right now, we're not ready to buy, I would have to try to figure out, all right, where would I need to buy? Where could I buy from? And pretty much set up a tent. You know what I mean? Just put something on the chart so I know when price comes into this area, it's likely that I could probably get opportunity to buy. So that's where my blue rectangle comes in. And where I'm placing this, I'm going to explain. This isn't really a beginner thing, but just work with me. If this was the area that we would look to buy in, we have this on the chart. And from here, we are just waiting. All right. So we're pretty much waiting until price comes back in this area. And then we would take the buy when price gets down into here. All right. Because we want to buy it as low as possible and we want to sell it as high as possible. So that's how these things that I showed you come into play. I use the trend lines to show where the highest point is on my phone. The highest point, the lowest point, and I use the rectangle to let me know, okay, this is where I could buy, this is where I can sell. So that the next time I open my phone, I don't need to reanalyze it. I already know that if it's not near this box, I don't need to look at it right now. If it is near the box, then I can get ready. The other side of things would be placing a red box close to the top. Actually, let me pause here for a second. Is everyone with me? Or does anyone feel like, Kirk, you're moving a little too fast? I'm not quite sure what is going on. Let me know. Because I'm going to switch to the phone right after this question. All right, Kirk is okay. Can you set up a notification for the um can you on trading view you can but on MetaTrader you can't. All right. So TradingView, you could create alerts. If you pay for TradingView, you're going to get a lot more alerts. But for free, you could get alerts. I think it's just one or two alerts you get with just the free account on TradingView. All right. But it's not going to just give you alert when the higher low appears. It's going to happen sort of like this. You could take a line like this and you pretty much will make the alert on this horizontal line, right? So that if price comes down, once it crosses your white line, once you crosses your line, your phone is going to tell you, hey, British pound to the Japanese yen just crossed your trend line at 211.81. It just crossed the line here. You have that alert. Now you would know, okay, cool. Let me go get my phone, see what's going on, and see if I can get an entry. All right, so let's go over to the phones. I think so. All right, so question number one. Do you guys know how to, all right, so for my iPhone users, we're gonna tap this button in the top of the screen, top middle, the one that has the square, the circle, and the triangle. You want to tap that. We're going to go to add object and you want to tap on trend line. Right, it's going to have this little purple shape in your top right corner. Android users, when you tap your screen, that little wheel is going to pop up. Once it comes up, you want to tap on the same square, circle, triangle button. And let's see what happens when we get in there. Okay. I don't know what happens after you press that, but once you do, hopefully there's a list of shapes in there and you want to choose Trendline. Someone on Android, you can let me know if you do see that. Now, from my memory, because I used Android a couple years ago, how we apply this trend line is going to be a little different to how, all right, cool, to how it works on Apple. All right, so Apple users, once you have your trend line selected, you're just going to, oops, let me delete this first. We're going to tap on the screen, all right? And once you tap on the screen, you're going to have this line follow wherever your finger goes. When you release, you can always tap on the middle of it and drag it where you want it. But pretty much we want to have a trend line at the top on the 5 minute time frame, and you're making sure that that trend line reaches above this right here. All right. For Android users with your trend line, I believe you gotta tap first to get a dot on the screen, and then you kind of gotta drag it across to get the rest of it. But Kurt, let me know when you try to draw the trend line, let me know what works. Did you have to tap your screen for where you're starting and then tap your screen for where you want the trend line to end? Down at the bottom here, but this chart seems different. All right. So what we're going to do is, wait a minute. Hold on. Is my thing still sharing? All right, let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. GJ. All right, let me just catch up with this one. What's up? And we're gonna put another box at the bottom. All right, for now, just place it around this wick area right here. All right, we're gonna put another rectangle, just put it down there. I'll show you how to change the colors, but once you have both of those placed, you kind of take it from there. All right, when you tap the screen, you should get a wheel that shows up on the screen. In that wheel, there should be an icon that looks like a square, a circle, and a triangle. All right, you would tap on that, and you should see something about add object or add text. And you're going to tap on add object and scroll down until you get rectangle. Rhea, did that chart open up for you? Or is it still saying processing? All right, great. Kurt's got it. All right, so to change the color, let's tap on the box at the top of the screen. You're going to tap and hold. A window should pop up on the screen, and you're going to choose. No, I'm just going to observe. All right, no problems, Rhea. All right, a box should show up, and you should get the option for style. Kurt, let me know if you see style or if it's just properties. Yeah, I didn't get my friend to send me a screenshot of this part. When you tap and hold on the rectangle, let me know if you see style, or if properties are, and if you could unmute and tell me, then that could be a little quicker. Or anyone else who's on Android.
Yeah, when you tap the box, it gives you three icons. One is a
Okay.
pencil, which allows you to see style, and then you can edit the box.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So you want to tap on your box, tap the pencil, and choose style. All right. From there, is there anything that allows you to choose color? iPhone, obviously, you could follow. You will have your little color circle down here at the bottom. You just tap on that. And I custom selected some colors, but what I try to do is get um red and blue, but I try to make them as dark as possible so they don't obstruct my vision. All right. So if you want to copy what I have, that's fine. So I would just take the red panel, just change it to 44 and put the other two at 0. Or just in case if Android only allows you to have a hex number, then you could use this, right? 2C and 4 zeros. But for now, the exact color doesn't really matter. I just want you to have the opportunity to know that, hey, you could change this color. If it allows you, what? I just want you to have a click pencil icon style. Okay, perfect. You just want to have a color that you're going to use to represent buys, and you have a color that you use to represent sells. I use red and blue. If you prefer purple and green, do your thing, right? You just got to know what the color means for you. Also for Android, when you go to choose the color, do you see anything that looks like it would allow you to save the color? Like this little like on iPhone, we have this little plus sign. You see anything that has the option that looks like you'll be able to save the color? I hope so, because that would just allow you to move a little faster for later on. Okay, cool. Save button at the top. Perfect. Okay, so now we have this. Um, we have our horizontal line, so we know that this is the high. We know that this down here is our higher low. And we are looking for price to, I'm gonna go a little slower just so you can see it, but we're expecting price to come down so that we can enter for a buy and potentially take the trade higher. Okay. So if we want to buy, right, from down here in this box and price is up here, okay? This is where I don't want you to overthink what I'm saying. Just follow what I'm saying. If price is up here and it has to get down here, right? It would make sense to think that price needs to go down in order to reach this blue box, right? Price needs to come down. It needs to get lower. In trading, anytime price is going down, that means it's selling. So this is where I would use another trend line. I want you to watch me first. And this is going to make a little more sense with when we do um another market structure class. Okay. So this right here, for now, just take my word for it. This right here is the last low. Like imagine that these two charts didn't happen, right? Price is still up here by 211.96. This would have been the last low point, which would mean that if we came on this, if we were looking at the chart, let's say 10 to 15 minutes ago, we would have been saying, okay, in order for us to get the buy, we need to see price come from 211.99, take out this low, and keep going all the way down here. All right. So you end up putting this horizontal trend line here, just so you know the next time you come and you look at your chart, if price has not broken that horizontal line as yet, it's not ready to go down as yet, right? So you have at least another 5 minutes that you could go do something else before you come back and check your chart. If this was only 1 hour time frame, right? And we drew that horizontal line, it would mean the same thing. Within this hour, if price does not break this line, then we're not too concerned about it coming down as yet, right? You can wait for it. You could go enjoy life for an hour and then come and check back and see what happened. All right. So now we are in current time. Here's what I tend to do. I would update what I've been doing on my chart based on what happened. Remember, I showed you guys on TradingView that I use the trend line to show where my highs and lows are. Um, but then I use the arrow to tell me when there was a break in structure. Since this was the last low and price right now is below that, if this timer here, where you see 119 right now, when that gets to zero, if price is below this yellow line, I'm going to replace that yellow line with an arrow. All right. So that it's going to tell me just at a glance that I did get a break of structure, which tells me price could be looking to continue to go down. And my entry in the blue box is more likely to happen. Let me know if you guys are following. Are we okay so far? Kind of. All right. That is no problem, Soraya. All right. All right. All right, Soraya, let me know where I know you only opened this up last week, so it's cool. But where do you feel lost? Is it like the words that I was saying or what you're seeing on the screen? Sure, I can absolutely do that. All right, so let's go back to the example we had about the house. Okay. The house has floors, right? It's always going up or coming down. If you're on the first floor, or let's say this is the third floor, so this is the third floor right here, right? This is the second floor, okay? This is the this is the third floor, this is the second floor. Right now, we're somewhere in the middle, all right? Um, we know that we want price to get down to this area. We want price to get into this blue area, mainly because few minutes ago, I would have showed you on Trading View that we buy at those higher lows, right? We buy at those higher lows. And right now, price is neither at a higher low and it's not at a higher high because this would have been a higher high here. This is a higher low here. We are somewhere in the middle. Since we're in the middle, that's a terrible place to make a move. All right. We don't we only buy at those low areas and we sell at the high areas. So we have those two boxes. Um, but on a yeah, I just try to find a way to say this without really complicating your mind. But I'm just gonna have to say it, and you can take notes for future you to understand. All right. So big picture, we have this area which is the high, and this area down here that's the low. But right now, in like current time, like what we're looking at right now, we could say based on where price is, this is the most recent high. All right. It's not the overall high, but it's like it's like the difference between a house that has 3 stories and you're on the first floor, but when you look up, you could see a ceiling, but it's not the real ceiling. You get me? Like you see the ceiling, but you know this is the that's the second floor that you're seeing, not the roof. You following me, Soraya? I hope so. All right, cool. So the blue box, the line above the blue box, that is the roof of the house, right? The blue box down here, this is the foundation of the house. Right? You can't get any higher than this and still be in the house. You can't get any lower than this and still be in the house. This right here is like a floor somewhere in between the two, right? That's like if you were just going, you went upstairs, but you're still in the house. So if we were to treat this area similar to what we had about the roof and the foundation, we could say, all right, cool. If we want price to go lower, right, then we need to get lower than the floor that we currently are on. Is that making sense? If we want to get from here to the foundation, we need to get past this. All right. So until we have, because we need solid candles, right? When you see these solid rectangles, those are solid candles. If it's thin like this, then this is an indication that yeah, you came down here, but you didn't keep going, right? You walk halfway down the staircase and then decided, you know what, I want to turn around and came back up. So this is still the overall low point here, and we never actually broke past it. We just kind of peeked downstairs. All right, cool. All right, so just for this particular chart, if you had this and you knew what the lines mean, then at a glance, you could just be like, okay, cool. I know I'm waiting for price to break this floor so that we can head towards the foundation, and that would allow me to get a buy. All right. So right now, there's no trade. We are waiting, and that's fine. Let's try another pair. Let's try another pair. Do I have stuff on gold? All right, cool. Let's take a look at gold. All right, we're gonna take a look at gold. If you do not see, I mean, you guys should be seeing it, but if you don't see XAU USD, then you could do the same thing. You're gonna tap Android users, you're gonna tap the plus sign, and in the search, you're gonna put XAU USD. Apple users, you could just go to search and you're gonna type XAU USD, pull up gold. Now, I want you to do what we just did on the other pair with this one. All right. Just for just go to the 5 minute time frame. Put the rectangle, the not rectangle, the horizontal line to represent the height, right? The highest point that we have so far. Use the Trendline tool again to make the low point. And then we're going to go ahead and try to figure out where these rectangles are going to go. All right, remember, this is just practice. In reality, we're not going to open a chart and just go straight to the 5 minute. All right, but that's going to take me taking you through market structure to really understand that. For now, I just want you to get practice using these shapes. All right, so you want to put a horizontal line at the top, the highest point, horizontal line at the lowest point. Rectangle at the top, rectangle at the bottom. All right, it's not a test. Like you don't have to be if you put your rectangles in places that look different to mine, that is completely fine. All right, if you ended up doing this, because the last time we put the rectangle around the wick, that's cool. Don't worry about it. Oops. But whatever you do, remember you want to change the color of those rectangles. The rectangle at the top, this is where you want to sell from. The rectangle at the bottom, that's where you're going to want to buy from. If you get those four things onto your chart, you could just go ahead, you could type got it in the chat, just so I know that you were able to do it on your own. Good job. All right, so Soraya, what we can do is you go a little closer in, similar to the last pair. Right now we have let me show you. We got the roof, we got the foundation. All right, this is the roof, foundation at the bottom. So this right here, all right, this would have been that inside ceiling, right? It's not the roof, but it's an inside ceiling. So first thing we can do, we want to put a trend line. Put the trend line here. All right, we drag across this trend line. Why? We want to see since we came off the roof, did we break the floor? Right? Because if we broke the floor, that tells us that we're coming close to the foundation. Right? If we see a solid candle below the floor, that means that we broke it. And that means we have a break of structure. Right? So you would be able to, instead of using your trend line, you're going to use an arrow so that when you look at this, you know, all right, I had a break of structure on my way down from the roof. Which means it's very likely that price can come towards the area where I would love to get a buy from. All right. Just based on what's happening right now, there is something that I can't, I don't have enough time to go into it and explain it. But the same way we put a box down here, I would also put a box right here. All right. Um, and that's just because there's something here I need to pay attention to. All right. And that is called an engulfing candle. We can get into that another time, but engulfing candles are really good indicators that price wants to, really good indication of an area that price is likely to have a reaction in. Let's see. Cami, how are we doing? Are you okay with marking up your gold chart so far? Were you able to put in the trend line at the top, trend line at the bottom, box at the top, box at the bottom? Were you able to do that? Shaquille, are you good? Or did I lose you along the way? All right, perfect. All right, you're good. And Ria, you're okay following along so far? Alrighty, so now that we have this arrow telling us that there was a break of structure. We got the ceiling, we got the foundation. Sometimes I go back a little bit just so that I could have the things there. And we were going up. This would have been the last height, right? So this is the roof that we have now. But before this was the roof, this was the roof, right? So that would mean that this gave us a break of structure to the upside, which is fine. You guys don't need to place this. But I'm gonna put it here because overall we've been going up, right? We've been going up a lot. So this blue area, this dark blue one, this is where I would ideally like to get a buy just because this is the cheapest price possible. You know what I mean? This is like, I have a headache. This happens. Okay, no worries. If you need to tap out, that's completely fine. All right. But before you go, um, let me just go. Just the only thing that we've been doing is when we come on the chart and we take a look at it, we want to know where the highest point is, right? We want to look for the highest point. We want to look for the lowest point. Then as you get more education, you would know what you're looking for in terms of where you're putting the boxes. But the simple version is you have your roof, you have your ceiling, and then you're going to put a box to indicate the area where you might want to buy from, sell from at the top. And we put a box at the bottom for the area that we want to buy from. Once you have those, all right, once you have those, even if you're on the road, if you're on the in the bank, whatever, at any point in time, you could be outside of your you could be outside of your MetaTrader 5. You just pick up your phone, you say, all right, let me see what's going on. If you see price happens to be inside one of these areas that you're looking at, then you could have a trade opportunity right there, right? And having the stuff on the chart already allows you to cut down the time that's going to take you to decide if you want to buy or sell. For me, all I got to do is see, all right, we got blue boxes here. Cool. If it stays in, if it does not break this floor, and if you treat this like a house, as long as it doesn't come downstairs in this scenario be below this blue box, as long as it stays in here, then we could continue to go upstairs. If it comes below here, it might go further downstairs. All right. But I want it, if I'm looking to keep going up, then I don't want it to get too low. All right, guys. With trading, anytime we are buying or selling, if we are going to buy this, let's say we wanted to buy and we have this bright blue box, as long as price does not go below this blue box, then we are okay to buy. We're willing to take that risk. If it gets lower, then we should not buy. And it's a bit of an oversimplification, but that's pretty much it. If you don't fully come downstairs, then you have to be going back upstairs. If you are not selling, then you have to be buying. And the vice versa is true. All right. And that's why we put these boxes. Because if price traded back into this red box and let's say it's 8:24 now, 9:30 shows up and price still is not going past this red box, then it's possible that we could be getting a sell from this area. All right. But these boxes just help us react a little faster to what the market is doing. All right. Yeah, I think I'll close out here. All we really did showed you guys within MetaTrader 5 on your phone how there is some stuff that you can do to help yourself while you're on the road. All right. If all you did was to just draw the trend line at the top and the bottom of like the high and the low of current price, then that's okay. What I do, what allows me to identify where I should put these lines, like I wouldn't put it here, is um all right, let me do that for another class rather than adding something else on top of what you already did today. All right. So I think we did all right. Oops. So on the, let's say on the weekends, when the market is closed, actually you want to be able to draw shapes and trade it in MetaTrader 5 when the market is shut. But if you want to get a little more familiar with MetaTrader 5 and you don't have to take a trade as yet, you could literally open any chart, look to see where price is right now. Wherever price is, even if you start with a 5 minute just to practice, wherever price is right now, your next question can be where did price start from that got us to where we are? All right. We're going to close out here in 4 minutes. All right. So if we are here right now, you're going to ask, how did we get here? All right. In order to get here, if you just follow the candles, all right. So this is the highest point that we had to be at in order to get here. All right. So you're just kind of going in reverse. This is the roof. So if this is the roof, where is the lowest point that we came from that got us from here? And that is going to be our overall floor. Alrighty. Once you have that, you're pretty much good. All right, so we will actually close it out here. 8:27. And feel free to practice in your MetaTrader 5. I have that video from Kai that's going to show you how to take a trade using MetaTrader 5. That's going to be a little more specific with how to enter that trade. But outside of that, you could just practice drawing shapes, right? Drawing the lines, drawing the shapes. Was it a break of structure or not? But I will keep coming back to MetaTrader 5 within our classes just so we can start to connect the dots. So with that being said, guys, it was great training with you, teaching you today just on what we do with MetaTrader 5. It does get easier and it's a different feeling to be in a line waiting to pay for something and making the money that you're about to spend back. It's a crazy feeling. You could be on a flight, you know what I mean? You could be on a flight and you could make the money back that you just spent to catch the flight and you're just traveling for free. But that's the power that you have. It just takes a little time to get it done. All right. Don't be in a hurry to trade with your live account. You can use that demo account till you're comfortable. Until then, leverage Pro Trader, leverage the trade ideas so that, you know what I mean? You make a little bit as you go. You don't gotta rush it. Right? If you made $1 today, you beat the bank by years. Trust and belief. Alrighty. That's enough for me. See you guys next week. Bye bye.